Hey, how are you? I'm Paul. So, having some really strange, almost laughs at the 3D nature of people. I am at a point where being of service has started to flood me with abundance of possibilities, of people, of things. I put out into the world an opportunity to interview people, and I've interviewed, I don't know, at least 4 or 5 now, and they are divine. They are the most amazing people, most down-to-earth people with stories very much like mine that are very much like me, just hiding in the muck and not sure how to rise up. Well, I made the offer to interview people, to hold space, to hold a container so that these people could shine their light out to humanity. And I am so blessed by all the experiences I've had so far, the amazing people. I did one yesterday with the beautiful Ellie Santana. I've never met her before in my life, but she came. I put the offer out and people showed up. Benjamin Harrison the other day, the spiritual gamer, Tina Hammond. I have the beautiful Lisa Chappelle showing up tomorrow. Monica was the other one. Sorry, my brain went to sleep. They all have been very beautiful, refined souls, people that are so down to earth, salt of the earth people. But at the same time, that same call has called in people that are self-important and very just trying to get a free marketing thing, and they see the light in it, but they cannot acknowledge the heart gift, is what I call it. I just finished with this person that calls themselves a reverend, and she happens to be a woman, and she told me how busy of a woman she is and how important she is and how much is going on. And I had a woman before that I had to book time on her Calendly when she was wanting this thing for free. And I basically reflected for her and I said, your self-importance and your willingness not to respect my time in forcing me into your funnel or whatever you want to call it or whatever is not working for me. And she got butthurt. This one, latest one, the Reverend or whatever, it's really crystal clear for me right from the very minute, because they'll connect with me in the moment. They'll get me on Messenger and I'm like, hey, do you got time for a quick live chat? Well, this one said, you will not get me on a live until I've got at least an hour beforehand to prepare. And I said, not a live, just a voice chat. No, I do not do that unless I have that time. And it's like, okay, this isn't working out. Thank you. Goodbye. The minute a free offering turns into a whole bunch of rules about you and your timing and all this kind of stuff, it tells me we're not in alignment. You're not in alignment with source or flow or the opportunity. You're proving, you're driving, you're making a living and you're earning and you're extremely in the 3D. I don't hate that. It's an instant no. No, thank you. And I almost laugh now, because before I'd be just like, holy crap, what the hell does this woman think she's doing or whatever? And it may not be a woman, it could be a guy just as much, and I've seen them as well, but lately it's been women. And I just know they're not in alignment with source, and whatever they're selling or whatever they're doing is not from heart. It's from earning and achieving and proving and other things, and you will not find those people on my lives. You will not find those people promoted in my service. And my service is to the universe, is to God, is to source, is to flow, is to whatever you want to call it. But I am here supporting fractals of myself. And the mirror I see in these people when they show up, that used to be me. I used to be an IT guy, and I used to have a booking system and a time and calendar, and I'd be so stacked every day, I barely have time to take a pee in between. And I was just like that, and I was just like a fucking wound up clock, and I'd be angry and I'd be frustrated, and I'd take that out on my kids, and I'd take that out on my marriage, and I'd be pleasing clients, and I was going to say patients, but that's actually true. Because that's what busyness is. Business, we call it that, but it's busyness. Chasing around, trying to please other people to make money so that we can survive is not our divine essence. It's a program that we're running that keeps us distracted from waking up to realize that I have a bigger purpose, and my purpose is in understanding myself, understanding what I want, having dreams, having desires, and it's not all based behind money and blah, 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 blah. So it's kind of creepy, hilarious, and beautiful all at the same time to see these facets of what I used to be showing up, to be recognized like happy puppies and a little boy. Hey, I want to be seen. I want to be on your show. I want to understand what you do. And I see your light and I'm all excited about it. Well, there was a point in my life where I would just give my light to anybody just to feel validated and feel good and all this kind of stuff. And then it got to the point where there's nothing left for me because nobody would give anything back. But I'm seeing a beautiful opening in the field now where by offering these lives and interviewing people and seeing them for the real thing that they are and witnessing them, by doing it in balance and of having boundaries for myself that they're in balance, that something beautiful happens. Yesterday, you may not know this, but I don't know what happened, something with the retrogrades or whatever, but for somehow I didn't put the plan to meet with Ellie in my calendar. And she texted me and says, "Are we still meeting?" And I'm like, holy shit, how did I miss that? And instead of beating myself up, I said, "Would you like to do the live right here by the river?" Because I was sitting beside the river getting this beautiful flow. You might hear it if you listen in the background. There was some wind and you could see the sky and all. It was the most beautiful live I've ever had. Because I was in nature, I accepted, thank God my battery lasted, all this kind of stuff. I could have beat myself up and been angry and sad and frustrated, but I wasn't. I just allowed, and I was in flow, and I let it show up. And what a beautiful backdrop. I don't have to put a drape behind me or like what you see up here behind me to have the backdrop. I brought nature right into the middle of what was going on. Nobody disturbed us. The power of the water, that live is probably about as healing as you could ever get, because I was right beside moving water and in nature, away from people. The closest anybody got was like 50 feet or more from me during the whole live. So as I'm being of service, these magical things have shown up. I've been invited to a medicine lodge, a sweat lodge, and I've been part of that community in the past. It kind of fell apart, but the elders in that community still exist, and he was called to talk to me, and he wants me to be in his inner circle to help guide people, because he feels my energy, my spirit. He can read the energy, knows the work that I've done, but he offered me to be part of that circle, which doesn't happen to just anyone. Like, at one point in our discussion, he basically said, "Oh, it's right in the end of this 3-3 portal and all this kind of stuff, and I've been calling in this thing, and you showed up. Not that I'm special or whatever, but it humbled the hell out of me. Like, I'm the answer to somebody's prayers or needs or whatever, but I bring..." He's from a traditional shamanic structure, and he's railing to exit the structure and create energy from outside that structure. And maybe I'm the support, because structure and support of old lineages and other things help us feel safe and connected and other things, but maybe I'm a message of the new that's coming in. I don't know, but all I know, it is a great honor to be seen and brought into the inner circle with just a conversation. We haven't even met in person yet. And it reconnected me with some parts and some old friends. He was friends with a guy that I haven't talked to in probably 3 years, because often we're kind of separated from people that have the most power. And he basically said he was separated from all his friends and all his life and stuff. And this is the whole shamanic path. But these people are showing up. I'm ending old cycles of relationships, of karma, of bullshit, of my epigenetic lineage playing out, and I'm basically stepping into an abundance that isn't based specifically on money, but on what I give without expectation, because that's the lives and other things. It's no expectation. It's like, hey, we're having fun. Launch any of my lives. I'm not promoting myself. I'll basically add my truth and add divine truth, which often brings it into deeper resonance and more truth. But those lives are basically heart openings for people. The woman yesterday, Ellie, spoke about her clinically depressed and how awful that felt and how it felt in their body. And I'm sure that talked to thousands of people that are going to watch this video, and they knew that she knew the truth, and she's somebody that can help them. And if Ellie gets some work out of it and more people showing up or whatever, great. I only want to be seen as the person that can help promote and brings truth to people. And that will bring people. I'm going to be traveling the world. I don't know how it's going to happen yet, but I'm allowing it. I'll be traveling the world, and people can have one-on-one experiences in a stadium with me. And if you want to book something, eventually my calendar is going to be booked up, but there'll be opportunities. Or maybe there'll be receptions afterwards where people can have a short chat with me or whatever, not healing or whatever, but just by being in the vibration of somebody that's radiating God source energy. And I'm not God in the way that most people might see, but I'm so close to connection with my own God source. It gives people the invitation to do their own work, to be in touch with their God source. That's all I am. That's nothing huge. It's just an example of what's possible if you allow it in yourself. Because we're all going back to God. There's no one God. There's no guy with a beard and way up in heaven sentencing us and all this kind of stuff. It's just us. So I'm an example to facets of myself, which are you and everybody else on this planet. And I take my own self-responsibility. But when I see people having hard experiences and hellish experience and traumatization and other stuff, I see myself. Not I take on responsibility or I have massive compassion or whatever, even though I do have compassion, but I'm not going to feel sympathy for them, because that's how we find ourselves. So there's joy inside. Holy crap, you're almost dead right now, and you're on drugs and you're addicted and all this kind of stuff, because you're finding yourself. You're hitting the bottom. You're hurting yourself until you either make a choice or you die. That's how simple it is. And that's not what life is all about. But when you go through the deepest levels of awakening, the dark nights of the soul, you'll have to choose not to die, because the easy way out is to die. How many lifetimes have you lived where you died and you gave up and you came here for the coup de grace, whatever you want to call it right now, the thing that kills you or the thing that enlightens you or elevates you? Because when we play the human experience, we're playing for keeps, we're playing for real. And it's been the most energetically exhausting, powerful experience. That's why all the other planets and all the other races and stuff like that are in great reverence supporting us as we work out of this collective nightmare that we went into, that tested us and polished us in ways that can never, ever be fully appreciated. So if you got an air of self-importance in your 3D life and you're special and you got a web page and you got thousands of viewers or whatever, great. Doesn't define me. I picked up people all along the way, but I keep finding people that haven't even seen me before that are drawn to my light just because I'm on a Facebook channel and talk to people and share and they're like, what's with that guy? Why is he so special? Why is he wearing a orange shirt today? Well, normally I'd wear white, but this is sacral and lower body, and me fully grounding into my 3D presence. I was guided in meditation today to look at my contacts list on my phone of all the 3D things. But it was huge because I could all of a sudden feel all these energetic attachments to old dates, and numbers and names I didn't even know were still on my phone of people that I'd loved or been sexual with or had relationships with, business or pleasure or whatever you want to call the different things. I saw them and it's like, oh, I'm still attached to that person. Like I could remember some of the mothers from soccer when I coached soccer that I had real attraction to, and I still had little energetic, don't want to call them hooks because they weren't that, but energetic pulls. And I just let them go. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm not that, and I don't chase mothers of children or whatever. Some of them were divorced, some of them were married too, but I don't do that. So it was like a naughty little wish or hope or whatever, but they're gone. People that I'd worked with, that I'd had those with, and I'd read the name and it was like, oh, there's still a pull in my gut or whatever, and I'd just pull that back and I'd say, I release you. Thank you. And I release them all. And anybody that wasn't on that list or that I've already deleted, I release you all too. It was such a beautiful, energetic cleanse. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all those experiences. I'm so grateful for the 3D masculine experience, the fact that I lived the feminine experience often in being over feminized. I'm not saying I'm homosexual or something. I'm just saying over feminized, where I was always in my emotions and very reactive and very not much the divine masculine, but I got to find and hone and refine my feminine. So now as I step back into my masculine, because that's my body is masculine, I'm integrating in a very balanced way of my masculine and my feminine. I can listen to the feminine heart. I can feel and know. And somebody once told me that our feminine in the masculine is our lover. And it allows us to love a woman. So if we can't feel and integrate and have emotion and that kind of stuff as a masculine, we're not much of a lover, or we're not in balance. Now, often the feminine's been calling an over-rotated masculine so that they could finally be in their full feminine, which is the rebel without a cause, the guys that couldn't give a fuck about anybody or whatever. But there's a new masculine growing. A masculine that's confident in themselves and in service to God and in service to all, but not in a busyness kind of way, but in a way of having boundaries and loving themselves first. And then a woman can approach. And that's what they call the masculine rock at that point, when the masculine knows what he wants and knows that the woman can have emotions, and maybe she's having a bad day or her period's going on or whatever. She's nature and the winds are blowing and the earth is hard and giving birth and all this kind of stuff. At that point, I know if they want, I can give a hug. I can let their head be on my shoulder, and they can emote and cry and be whatever they want, if with boundaries of not harming me. You can't punch me and hit me and blame me and all these kind of things, but you can cry and wail, and I'll watch you punch a pillow, and I'll watch you scream and and thrash and let it all go. And then, with permission, I'll hug you. I'll gently put some body weight on you so that it's like a soothing blanket, regulating your nervous system, allowing you to know that you're safe. Not trying to be sexual or whatever, but the best weighted blanket in the world is another body with skin. And if that person's okay with it and your partner's with that person, even better if you're naked with that person. Not for sex, just skin on skin contact. Your whole nervous system will regulate in like that. Because you as a baby holding up against your mother's breast knew that, and you'd calm right down. Unless your mother was wounded and broken as a child, so you never really learned that energy. But maybe you've created that energy within yourself now. I've had to create it inside myself. I never got it from women, but I can sure as hell say I got it now. And there's something beautiful to be in the softness of a woman that's fully surrendered, a woman that's fully in her emotion, etc. So, we've kind of taken a turn here. It's interesting how it goes, but I welcome that into my life. And maybe you welcome the divine masculine into your life in that way. We are all going through these processes of meeting people and bumping into people and trying to have a life purpose and all this kind of stuff while we're coming back into regulation in ourselves. And I went through a huge and massive recalibration today when I did that, walking through my contacts list. Because every person that I've ever known that I had attachments to through business or personal or friendship or whatever, I got to reassess and I got to take my energy back from. Not because I hate them or whatever, but because it was based on an old me that was giving parts of myself to please everybody and to make them friends. And the number of people that I can call close friends, infinitesimal compared to what I used to, because my old friends used to use me, take advantage of me. There were some people in my tantric communities and other things where I would promote their stuff and I'd participate and I'd be leading people and all this kind of stuff, but it was all about them. And I looked at them and I just saw this little child, this little wounded, crying infant that wanted to take everything because it belonged to them, but without any recognition of the people that were assisting or helping. Very much like these people that were self-important and other things. I do what I do from love. And I don't know if you can see it with my hand on my chest and me, the softness of me, but there's so much humility. It doesn't make me less. Not this humble kind of monk that just anybody can walk on or whatever, but almost like a sacred monk. In some of the games, I used to play a game called Bard's Tale. It was kind of like D&D stuff or whatever, but there was the monk character and it was so relaxed. He was so calm and so zen, but he could do magic. He could also fight like a warrior. And some of the Shaolin monks and others are the people that created karate and other things. That really resonates with me. Sacred warrior, but a philosopher at the same time. A bard is another beautiful term that I love. A bard is a singer that plays a mandolin and he goes to and speaks in foreign lands talking about all these adventures and all this kind of stuff because it's a little bit like what I am. And I've chosen to be a prophet, to be a bard, to be all these things. It's funny, somebody was listening and then they didn't like that and the one person that was watching is gone. You get to be a lot of things as you go on your journey. And I flow in and out like a metamorph into my masculine, my feminine, my anything to align with the person that I'm talking to. And that can be a gift because I could connect with a woman and she's very much in her masculine. So I'm very much in my feminine and I'm talking quietly and I'm, oh, honey, that's hard. And I'm sorry for that or whatever. And then we'll get to a point where maybe she needs a little more masculine and then I go deeper into my voice and it's like, hey, can I hold you? Can I give you a hug at this moment? It's like, oh, yeah. I did that at the bar the other day with this young woman that was, I said, are you a hugger? And she said, yes. And I gave her a hug, much firmer, not the tap, 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 wiggle, wiggle, wiggle or whatever hug. I gave her a firm hug. I put my hand behind her heart and the other one in the low back. And I gave her a really firm hug that she wasn't expecting, but she says, I needed that. How many women are suffering from not a safe masculine, from not a firm, strong masculine characteristic? I can be that. I do that. I work with people in sacred sexuality, in other things. Sometimes it's very uncomfortable because the person will see that and then they'll realize that maybe it's not coming from their partner and other things, and they'll want it for themselves and they'll finally realize that they've given up a part of themselves to this person. I had this woman that moved away because she couldn't stand Canada anymore, but I would give her hugs and I would let her feel that. Not it was an invitation or whatever because she was still married and I would never violate those contracts, but after a while, she couldn't take it, and it created this, like, tear inside of her, which I understood and I allowed, and I couldn't fix or whatever. But for me to be in my divine masculine and non-apologetic about it and have that kind of shake up people sometimes is divine. I didn't even realize I have my noise machine. If you hear the river going in the background, it'll calm you right down. My gifts are manifold. And maybe you're getting a feeling of them here and now. Just through my voice, through my reflections, through my musings on 3D reality and experiences and other things. I welcome you on a journey with me. If you're a healer and any of that kind of stuff, and you want to be seen and you want an opportunity to talk about it in front of the universe, everyone in 3D reality, and have a held container while you do it, come see me. We'll have a chat. But you can't get away without the chat. You don't need to frickin' spend an hour doing your hair beforehand to have a chat. I want to see the real you, the messy, just come off the trail, came back from a jog, sweating your face off. I could care less, because the soul of who you are is not about your dress or your makeup or your hair or anything. It's about looking in each other's eyes and resonating. And I conjecture you to look at any of the lives that I've done so far and feel the resonance of people that showed up and in their full power. And it was a service of love. Nothing more, nothing less. And unconditional love. Not, I expect you to do this afterwards, or not one of the people that I've interviewed so far has even offered to give me an interview. I could care less, because it's not about that. It's about building a community of high-level light workers that are prepared and heart-centered and other stuff, and there's a special gift that comes in behind that. And I won't explain that. I'll explain that to people that are interested and curious, but there's a special gift of a new reality that's coming with that. And it won't be visible to anybody else because everybody else isn't ready for it, or they're not comfortable with it. But there are divine light leaders, and I'm one of them. And there's absolutely no the ego in that. There's fucking humility like you would not believe, that are here to change reality, to create communities, to create spaces where people can grow. And this is one of them, this Facebook page. So smile. And that has to come from your eyes too. One thing I've noticed, in people are asking me Facebook friendship, but if your eyes don't smile and your face doesn't smile, I can't connect with you. And most people won't ever get to this point in this video or whatever, but if you don't have a heartfelt smile, you're dead inside. And if you're like, or nothing and your eyes are half dead or whatever, I'm done with dealing with that. I don't have to invite those people into my life. I owe them nothing. You have to have done the first steps of the work. Once you've done the first steps of the work, I will invite you into my kingdom as Paul. That's not the kingdom of everyone, or I'm not God in any way, shape, or form, but I will invite you into that, and I will put you on the stage and allow other people to see you all day long. I'll put the spotlight on you. It's not about me. It's about, if I can show what I've talked about over and over and over again, if I can show that and promote that in other people just by their stated experience, it gives absolute power to the people that watch, because I've healed it. Now this person's healed it. These are examples for you as the watcher or the person that's receiving it to receive that gift into your heart and start to expand, so that you can come to the point where you can help other people and expand into humanity and be a healer or whatever you want to be. Just talk about it. There are more people than you can possibly imagine in the exact same boat as you, and they're looking for the medicine of your story, of what you've done to get out of depression, get out of pain, suffering, fibromyalgia, all this kind of stuff. People on these lives have healed all this stuff. Monica Ramirez, for one, she says, I healed fibromyalgia. I was hating myself. I hated my body and I was attacking my organs and all this kind of stuff. And as she found self-love, those things healed. All those symptoms disappeared. I've done similar. I've healed diabetes in my body. I've healed stroke. I've healed all these things that the medical system and the story of the program and my past lineage wanted to put in me to kill me and beat me down and show me that I wasn't worthy. And I said no. And you're like, oh, how can I possibly do that? You're more powerful than you can think. And if you believe what your parents tell you and what your lineage tells you, and that's all you're going to get is you're going to get diabetes because that's in your genetics and all this kind of stuff, you will get diabetes. But you're ending the cycle. You're ending the program. You're ending the thing that turns you off as you get wise and you become aware, and you're finally stepping into your full health and your full excitement and your full life. And that's what I'm here to tell you. Climb up. I reach out the hand to help you step up on the stage. And if you are humble and ready and receive in grace and thank me and all this kind of stuff, it's all that's required for God to let you onto the stage and to let you step into a high purpose. And that may not be a millionaire or having a good job or being XYZ or whatever. You may be the light. And trust me, more blessings come to me now that I let this light shine out of me and support people and promote people and all this kind of stuff. As I give, I receive in magical ways. That's all I can say. And that's an abundance that's way different than monetary. It's an abundance that makes sure you're settled and comfortable and safe in everything that you do. And I accept it in. I fully believe I have a new home coming in. Whether or not I can afford it or buy it or whatever, somebody's going to maybe give it to me. The universe is going to give it to me. God, the angels, everybody is on my side now because I'm doing the work. And I'm helping other people do the work. And I'm allowing it, and it's going to feed me all the abundance I need to be safe at all times, to be able to travel the world, all the money, whatever I need to be able to be in places where people need it. That's about as deep a service as you can get. And having relationships and friends and new excitement and pleasure and sexuality and massages and all this kind of stuff show up because that's what my body needs. To be able to feel supported and in safety and in doing and giving all this energy into the world or whatever, I need to recharge. And that will show up with people that love it and want the same things and I'm not taking from and they're not taking from and blah, 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 because that's how the truth of this whole thing works. The minute you're in shame and guilt and whatever about your divine birthrights of being a sexual being and a lover and a husband or wife or whatever you aspire to be, if you're in shame about it, guess what? It's going to eat you alive. But when you're in excitement about it, all of a sudden, opportunities to share it show up. And we're in a pattern of choosing what we want. So the right people, somebody may show up that you think is right, and you're going to assess them, and eventually there's going to be a blow up or whatever. Nope, that wasn't it. I want something, this or something better. Boom. Move on. Not run away from people or not have hard conversations or ghost people or whatever. You now have the ability to say, this isn't working out for me. You're rather controlling and you got to get up an hour before in the morning to have your hair look nice and stuff. I just love you the way you are. But that 3D shit just exhausts me and I it's not working for me. Yeah, you were hot and beautiful and fun and playful or whatever, but maybe I need a woman that just can roll out of bed and look beautiful. And it has nothing to do with 3D hair products and whether curls are fluffy and all this kind of stuff. I've lived with women that wanted that. Trust me, it takes away, and it's so much in pleasing other people and not even loving yourself. But a person that can roll out of bed, I roll out of bed. That's why I cut my hair so short. I do not want to cut my hair, comb my hair, style it, put products in it, put perfume on me. I like to shave once in a while because I don't want to get too furry. But other than that, have a shower once a day, use more natural products because it feels good on my body. Not because I have to smell nice and what I'm worried what the women are going to think or whatever. Sometimes I wear the same shirts 3 days in a row as long as they don't smell. And I'm having a bath and shower on a regular basis. Who the fuck cares? But, you got to have a different outfit. I got a whole closet full of shit that I don't hardly ever wear. Just call me because of its color. I usually wear a white shirt just so I don't even have to have connections with my chakras and other things. That's how simple living an inspired life in surrender is. I have no idea what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. I just blew off my 10 o'clock live I was going to do with somebody because I was called to do a medicine journey last night. And I'm just coming out of it, and I'm so inspired, and that's why I'm talking about it. But so clear, so beautiful. And I will tell you right now, a medicine journey, certain sacred medicines, what shows up for me, I didn't take ayahuasca, but it shows up when I go in and choose I'm taking a sacred medicine journey, ayahuasca shows up. And she was demanding and hard and really brutal in my past, but it's a pattern interrupt. It basically allows your divine self or your soul to talk directly to you in your human form. And it allows that oversoul, that higher level of you to basically, with awareness of you, to rewrite your DNA, change your programs, change your patterns. And it was so required because we went into a new timeline yesterday and I needed to reset all the shit that was holding me back to preserve me and to slow me down until I got to this point. So I'm a new expanded being. I don't even know what's going to be possible in these coming days. But the clarity I'm sharing is the clarity that you can have as well. Walk with me. I'll guide you through this kind of stuff. If you want to work at a deeper level, I'll guide you even deeper. But you have to make a choice. You have to want it. And there has to be an exchange of something, some value or whatever. You can give me a massage, or you can give me your modality or whatever, and I'll do the same back, equal and opposite. If you allow the universe to give you an equal and opposite, you'll be full of abundance every single day of your life. So I make that invitation. And I'm creating community, and the possibility of a place to create community has shown up. And if people want to be in community and hold space here in the Calgary, Alberta, Canada area, let me know. And once I got 5 or 10 people ready to go or whatever, I'll make arrangements to meet in this sacred space, which is a shaman's sacred space. And it's the most clear space you can ever have. And to step into that community is going to allow you to, there'll be some really base teachings or awareness that you can choose to participate in or not, but you're going to have to walk in five foundations. I talk about it many times. Self-responsibility, not being a victim. Everything's happening for me, not to me. Accountability. What do you do with and your triggers? Vulnerability, talking openly about your shit, because that's the first steps to healing. Next one is directness, talking to people and sharing with them, not in hiding and beating around the bush and talking indirectly, directly. I'm uncomfortable with what you just said. Let's talk about it. And the last one is, how do I communicate and these kind of things. If you build a community based on those 5 things, people will awaken extremely quickly. And these are the foundational principles of everything that I've talked about here on my lives. And I really think it's time to be in a physical space with other people that are doing that. And very soon, I don't know, maybe the possibilities out there as it is, I'll make the invitation, but I'm going to either create a spiritual community center, or I'm going to work with somebody to create a spiritual community center where people can go and live these principles. They will go in, they will, as part of the community, they'll be taught these basic principles. And that's the price of admission to be into the community is to bind yourself by these 5 foundational principles that will as much protect you as save you from old 3D things. If you can't be self-responsible and you want to be a victim all the time, you don't belong in that space, because you've given your power away and you're constantly going to be victimized by everyone. We won't invite that into the space. If you can't talk openly about in vulnerability about your traumas and your past, and not that you have to throw everything on the table right away, but if you cannot be real about who you are, you're going to be a lie. That's sad. It's like, oh, that never happened to me. My dad didn't do that to me, or whatever. But inside, people are going to know that that's a lie. Be honest and be vulnerable. My dad did that to me too. Oh, yeah, let's understand. Let's be aware. You're going to find out that the program and the pattern that everybody's been living through of all the traumas is very much identical. And the minute we can get past that, we can now be in a space, a conscious community with other people. We can thrive and survive, go past survival into thriving. No longer survival. No longer hiding in this small, wounded, inner child that's been programmed into all of us since birth, and it's not okay. Creating a thriving community, creating places where people share modalities, people share truth, share a circle, share a meal, share fun, play. Start to have relationships with those people and find out that those relationships are playful and fun, and that connection and relationship is another level of spiritual awakening. Sharing sexuality is another level of spiritual awakening. Creating sacred sexuality in ways that connect and give intimacy and eye contact and some of the stuff that Tantra teaches, but then it says break it. It's like we're just finishing the puja and you move on to the next person or whatever. No, you're encouraged to have that into me see with another person. If you're going to be sexual with a person, look inside them, see if they've got fear, worries, anger. They're not in their body because they're fawning right now because they're scared, but you ask for sex and they have to please you and give it to you, and they're going to actually violate themselves by being that. If you can't look in their eyes and see that they're all in and their heart's there, you shouldn't be having any level of connection with that person until they're feeling safe. Ask for consent. Is it okay that we do this? And I suggested something and you don't have to do it, but would that be okay? And the first time, sometimes a woman who's always felt that she had to please and be safe by making happy a man, the first time she asked for consent, I've seen it happen. They burst into tears. You really care what I think? It's like, fuck yeah. If this is not an all in and a hell yes, then it's a hell no. Let's stop right here and right now, and we're going to talk about it until it is. And if they run away and they can't be true about who they are, then probably not a good kind of match. So look at how pure and simple being alignment with ourself and with higher purpose and feeling in and having spare time and not feeling rushed and completely relaxed into your life is. And if you're too busy and you got to have a Calendly and you only got 5 minutes to spare here or there and everywhere, don't call me, because I'm not that anymore. I have a booking system and it's completely wide open. Almost every day of the week, I'm completely wide open for people. If you can be flexible and open and all this kind of stuff, you could text me right now after this live and say, hey, how are you? And I'm interested in a live. And more than likely, unless I'm going for a walk or I'm driving somewhere or whatever, I'll say, hey, let's have a quick video chat. Spend 15 minutes. Do we resonate? Are you in leading a life of those maybe generally 5 principles that I talked about? And if we're in alignment, it's going to be so crystal clear, and it's like a perfect time will show up and there's no frustration or chasing or whatever, or let me check my calendar and I'll get back to you and blah, 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 book on my Calendly or whatever. No, it'll be like, well, how's tonight at 7 o'clock? You work till 5. We'll get some supper into you. When do you have kids? No, maybe not. Well, maybe 7. If you have kids, maybe it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Perfect. You tell me, but if there's a big chase and you book times that are overlapping with all my other times or whatever, there's something seriously wrong and you're avoiding it. Why did you come to me? It's hilarious, because some part of them that's part of me knows what my calendar is and what my availability is, and it wants to be all in, but it doesn't want to commit, so it will do that. I had a woman, her name was Nicole, that came to me 6-7 times, and then she wanted to be interviewed on a live, and she'd always cancel at the last minute. I'm sick, the kids, I got to look after, I'm grandma, and I got to babysit and all this kind of stuff. And I got so frustrated trying to align with her, I finally just blocked her. Because if you keep playing chicken with me and make it my fault, I am not helping you, I am actually harming you. So maybe the person that's going to help her is going to show up later. Or maybe I'll unblock her at some point in the future or whatever when she's grown up a little bit. But she wasn't grown up. She was in an adult body, but there was something that wanted to play chicken with her own awakening. She knew damn well that I could give her the awakening that she needed, but the integrity in me will not play that game. I told her before I finally blocked her, I said, 3 strikes and you're out and you got 1 left. And then she came to me wanting to be interviewed, and I planned for it. And, I got to babysit the grandkids now. Exactly what I knew and expected. And I said, thank you, goodbye. A part of me said, fuck off, because I don't have to love that. I don't have to love that old program. I don't have to whatever, but I never said it to her face. But the honoring me and the loving me and the part that set aside time and shifted my whole schedule and plan and all that kind of stuff to align with that, love myself. That's part of being with God and being part of God. And the self-importance or the fear of others does not rule in my life, and I will not permit people in that just keep fucking playing chicken with themselves. That's simple. And that's why if you work with me and you decide to work in with me, you're going to get way more than any traditional healer, because I'll see myself in you and I'll reflect and we'll have some hard conversations and I'll support the fuck out of you as long as we're in balance in some way, shape, or form. And that may require money or that may require something else, but it also gives a commitment. Somebody told me yesterday, it's like, oh, well, people that just get things for free, they don't appreciate it and they will not lean in. So sometimes you need to pay something to show that you're committed and show up and your value of money and all this kind of stuff. Ultimately, your heart's going to know. And for the right person that's coming in with the right sincerity and maybe doesn't have money or whatever, I'll do those things for free. But we're going to know. The universe is going to know if you're coming in and expecting me to give something for free when you got thousands of dollars in the bank account and I'm asking for a few hundred here or whatever. Without that balance, there is no appreciation, there is no respect, there is no love. And you'll lovingly give it. I'm even willing, with the right people, if they want to make a commitment to work on themselves and they're willing to do it, and they're willing to pay me back afterwards from their abundance when it comes in. I've been fucked over more times than I can count. I'd allow that to happen, but it's a divine agreement at that point. And honestly, the amount of money that I could receive is probably 100-fold. Like if I give a person and they start $1 million business or whatever, maybe they'll give me 10 grand afterwards because that wasn't possible beforehand, but I cleared out their shit or whatever. That money would come in, it would feed me, and then it would go out into the community again, and it would create this self-sustaining, almost angel fund. And I want that. And I have people coming to me asking for money, but I'm not quite ready yet because I don't have that angel fund yet. I working on just supporting myself and getting through my own 3D constraints. But eventually there'll be a point where my foundation or whatever you want to call it is going to give back huge to people. Spiritual entrepreneurs that are having trouble and struggling, I'll mentor them, but at the same time, their business is going to help thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. I'll give them the processes to set up the business and the flow and all these kind of things so that they can be in their highest purpose. And from that abundance, people will gladly pay way more than they could probably afford at the time. I'd be willing to do that if people are coming into my life and wanting to give me healing or helping me reflect or mentor me and it feels in balance or whatever. I would give from that. But I probably don't have to because I'm healing myself now. But as I welcome people into my life that add to my life and build and that kind of stuff, magic happens. And this is the true soul purpose of a divine spiritual being. So I don't want to drag this out too long. I've been going on for probably 20 minutes here now. So the more you give, the more you'll receive. And I'm speaking of that. So if you're in self-importance and you're too busy and all this kind of stuff, you maybe have to look inside. And I do not respond well to that in my promoting people and other things. I will promote people that are humble and ready and maybe don't know how to get there, but are fully willing to accept the providence of God that I'm allowing to pass through me. Because I'm not God, I'm just a servant of God, and I am so fucking humble and excited and proud to be offering things to people, and in so giving, so receiving. That's simple. But as humble as you can get. And that might sound ego to some people or whatever, but when you've gone the full wheel of respect for self or whatever, you're going to finally realize that there's always going to be people that are going to take, they're going to feed off you, they're going to take your love and your divine providence and other things, but the people that respect you and put their hand on their heart and say, I love you, and allow God's providence to come through them, allow them to be the balance that I need sometimes. And it may come through manyfold people. It may come through new opportunities. It may come in through all these things. But that's the way the universe works. Those that are just grabbing on for dear life, and I got to make $1,000 off you today because I got to pay my rent tomorrow, and blah, 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 blah. Fuck that. That's holding on for dear life to a 3D reality that doesn't even serve you. Like, I rent an apartment. I do all these things, but I know imminently I will no longer rent an apartment. I'll have a home. I'll have an acreage on a quarter section of land, and I will do divine work. I will have a retreat center there. I will be sharing with people on a daily basis how to live their best life. And it's going to be out by the mountains. You can walk around on these beautiful paths, and maybe horseback riding over time, and quads and other things. Half the experience is getting back and grounded to nature and lay down and roll in the hose poop if you want, because some people need to be grounded, or get in a hot tub, or share a sacred sexuality session with somebody that you want to explore with. These retreats, these places will be off the grid essentially, and not in, and you'll just pull into a whole neverland almost, of a new place, a new reality. You will explore your new self and all your edges, and you'll come out a changed person afterwards. That simple. Magical place. Grounded and loving and community based. You basically come in and you meet other people, and you have meals together, and you basically get teachings. You go for walks, you go whatever. Eventually, over time, I see little tiny houses where people can retract, and they're out along the lake and the river, and basically they go into their own energy, or they bring their partner along and they go in as their own energy as a partner in the beauty of nature. And then they come and share community with people, learn some stuff, go and do edge play and other things where they explore themselves, and then they go back into their container. Maybe they're crying, or they're angry, or they're whatever, or they're hotly sexual with their partner, or they're wanting to just be in nature. They'll go sit on the side of the lake and feel the nature, and watch the cows maybe in the pasture, or the horses, or watch the deer dance by, or maybe some baby foxes or something, nothing dangerous. Watch a black bear kind of rumble by off in the forest trees, and it's like, not scary. When you're completely in alignment with God and not in fear, and nature is the most beautiful and amazing thing that you could ever have. And being beside running water, the most amazing thing you can have. Can you hear that water sound in the background? It's a stream. Your brain and your mind and stuff do not know what's going on in the background of everything. But I'm using that now to soothe you. What a beautiful life. Are you awakening? Are you ready? Are you ready to step out of self-importance and be of service to the world, to yourself? Try it. Invitation. You get to choose. Thank you.